If you're watching this video, you're going to be part of the 2020-2021 Children's Discipleship Ministry team at Riverside Community Church. If I haven't met you, my name is Stacy Lyons. I'm the Children's Discipleship Director here at Riverside. And I just want to personally thank you and welcome you to the team. I know this year with coronavirus and everything has been very different. So we appreciate your heart for service even in this weird time. I'm going to walk you through a lot of content in this video, but I want to start where the Lord starts with us. That our vision for our ministry really is, as secondary disciplers at our church, to support the families, but most importantly, to present our children to the Lord and introduce them to Him. And help them to build and develop a personal relationship with our Lord and Savior. So to that end, we're going to go through a lot of content during this video, and obviously we redo these videos every year just because things are different. This year there'll be a little bit more logistical information just with coronavirus. And then at the end of this, I'm going to put a link on the screen to a form that you need to go fill out before you serve. It's just basically a check on your comprehension for all of this information. And the intent is not to test you in any way, although I don't think that's bad to just sit back and think, do I really understand this information? It's more with that intent for you just to be able to really say, okay, I feel confident that I know enough about the logistics of what I'm being asked to do that I'll be able to focus while I'm at church serving on the children and developing their relationship with me and with the Lord, and not just having to think most of my energy towards logistics. You may have heard, and my joy in doing this is always to tell you guys about our annual theme for the year. The theme is called Redefining Discipline. Discipline, depending on your family of origin, doesn't always evoke the most helpful images and thoughts for us as people, especially probably in America. But we want to think with our kids about what God calls us to in a life that is disciplined in walking with Christ. We're going to work on incorporating some more spiritual disciplines as a practical means for this theme into the classroom. I think we do worship and Bible teaching, and worship just meaning singing and auditory expression to the Lord. But we want to give our children a full view of a relationship with God and what that can really look like. So that's kind of where we're going thematically for this ministry year. I'm going to put on the screen right now just kind of the 7 big areas that we're going to cover in this video. And then obviously you might have some class-specific information that you need to review before your service in your specific room. But since our ministry rooms are going to change so much this year, likely as more things open up, I'm going to focus this training just on the kind of global information that will apply to all of our rooms. So to start, check-in this year obviously is something that's going to look very different. If you've been watching in the live stream or if you've been in person, you've either seen the tent outside on the side door or you've heard about the tent on the side door. But just to avoid parents coming in and out of the building, we are going to have a tent for check-in at the side door in front of what is normally the door that you would enter in for children's discipleship. So what this means for you as the servant team is the coordinator, the teacher, and the welcome host will all arrive at 8 a.m. This is because obviously our service right now is at 9 a.m. This video will be modified if our services get modified. But children's discipleship is going to be during the first service at 9. There will not be children's discipleship during the second service at 11. So those 3 people, and let me just kind of walk you through those positions. So the teacher is the person that is actually teaching the lesson. Those are not what we call our classroom positions. When you are with the kids and you are focused on helping them apply the lesson, you are the class facilitator because you are facilitating relationship, and knowledge. The coordinator is the person who kind of runs all the logistics for the morning. So the teacher will go to room. The coordinator is kind of the assistant logistically for all the rooms. And the welcome host is a position that Katina Prescott has filled for us in the last ministry year. Obviously, this was a position in the lobby because she was part of kind of the welcoming committee for the church. But now she's going to kind of function at the tent, coordinating a lot of the check-in procedure. So those 3 people for the day are going to arrive at 8 a.m. And this is to set up the tent, to make sure all of our rooms are ready to go, but also just to pray and to be ready to receive the servant team and also the families as they arrive. If you are a classroom facilitator, so if you are serving in the 4 to 6 class or the 7 to 10 class, you are going to arrive between 8:15 and 8:30. Obviously, there's no pre-service meeting that this year is something that we're going to take out just to avoid our exposure across classrooms, but we do want you to get there between 8:15 and 8:30, and this is so that you can get to your room, you can make sure you're ready and prepared for what you're going to do with the kids that day. Again, you're setting yourself up logistically so that you can focus on relationship and application when you're interacting with the kids in the class. We are also, to prepare your heart, going to just write a short devotional, and that will be in the room for you to be able to read and pray over. And if you and your class, fellow class facilitator get there in time, ready to go, then you guys could even pray together. It's another reason why we encourage people to serve together. It's why our schedules are set up so you can see who's serving with you. All of that is done with intention to help facilitate your devotion as you serve. So again, we are very strongly asking you guys to arrive, if you are the class facilitators, between 8:15 and 8:30, because check-in for families is going to begin at 8:45, and you guys are going to go through the same screening procedure that the families and the kids will. So you will get your temperature checked. You'll go through a short checklist with the teacher coordinator and the welcome host that's at the tent when you come in. Okay, so we're going to transition now to the cleaning procedure for the classrooms. One important policy that's going to kind of fall to you guys to really be the model for this year is our mask wearing. Because the rooms are smaller, because we're having to kind of supplement the airflow in the rooms, we really want the kids, unless they're having their snack or for a specific reason, we want them to keep their masks on. And the best way that you can encourage them is by following this yourself and being a great example for them. If you came to the training, you got a mask. We made masks with the church logo for you guys. They'll be in your room. So even if you forget your mask, you probably won't be able to get in the side door past all the people without putting your mask on, because hopefully they're going to remind you. But these are so that when you serve, the families will know who is actually serving. They're going to be able to see you. We are going to come around the first couple of weeks and take pictures of everybody without your mask and then with your mask, just so that the families will know who they're looking for, if they want to speak with you further about their kiddos, and just so that the kids kind of can see. I know for a lot of us, associating a name and a face is not always the easiest thing, so the parents will be able to see, who is my child going to be with. We are going to encourage, obviously, social distancing during the classes. The stations are set up as best as we could, 6 feet apart in the classrooms. And you'll see when you get to your class that there's there's a learning sitting room where the kids will have cushions and tabletop individual desks that they'll be able to use. And then obviously in the playroom, there's more toys, and that's where they can kind of fellowship a little bit more. The 4 to 6 year old class is going to utilize this right now. The 7 to 10 will kind of be at their stations for the majority of the morning, mainly because they're going to have the live stream to engage in, and they'll be moving up and down as they go to worship with the rest of the church, to stand in confession, to do the responsive readings all together. So they will have movement, but just in a more directed to the Lord way, with a lot more intention with the service and the liturgy in the service. We are going to have in your room, when you arrive, on the shelf or on the table, if you're in the 7 to 10 class, there are spray hand sanitizers. So the first thing you should do when you get to your room is grab a hand sanitizer and put it in your pocket, grab your walkie-talkie and put it in your pocket. We are going to have 2 walkie-talkies in each room. So each teacher this year will have a walkie-talkie. So literally the first thing you should do when you get to class is grab a hand sanitizer, grab a walkie-talkie. Those things should just be automatic after you've served a couple of times. And I've asked the coordinators just to remind you of that if you're a class facilitator, because those are going to kind of be the way that we communicate, particularly during checkout, and you need to make sure you have that. Obviously, that's also the way that you're going to contact our coordinator if you have any discipline issues, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. The hand sanitizer spray is mainly just so that you can kind of spray the kids' hands and they can rub them. You're the only one that's really touching your bottle throughout the morning, just so that, and there are cleaning wipes and a bottle of, the hand sanitizer in your room, but hopefully the majority of the way that you'll be cleaning is maybe with the wipes and the spray hand sanitizer. There is a high density air filter machine. So a machine that has a very thick filter that will pull particulate matter out of the air. This just helps facilitate because none of the windows upstairs open, and so we want to provide extra airflow and just a way to keep the air in the room clean and as pure as we can. But these are automatically set. So the building and grounds team has already set them to come on at 8:30, go off at 11:30. You should not have to push any of the buttons on that machine. If something happens, do not start pushing buttons. Text me and I will come and help, because I am kind of the emergency contact for the majority of the things. I really want you to save my cell phone number. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Save it in your phone, because if something happens and the coordinator's not answering or just something happens, I want you guys to feel the freedom to text me. Okay, so now we are going to move into our behavioral policy. Last year, this was something that was a little bit more ambiguous, so we want to provide some clarity. The reason for that is not so that it is something that you feel bound to. It is because we do not want you as teachers to feel like you are kind of isolated or alone if you have a behavioral concern in your room. We want to provide as much support as we can and make it very clear. We want to make the expectations clear for the kids, and we also want to make the expectations very clear for you so that you're not in any precarious situations. So if a child is being non-compliant, if you have tried de-escalating their behavior, so really speaking with them, pulling them aside so you're not embarrassing them, that can escalate some children. Really pulling them aside, getting down on their level, really speaking with them in a respectful way, making sure you're not using a baby voice, especially for our kids 4 to 10. If you start using that kind of like, I want you to listen to me, it just can feel like you're condescending. And kids that are already in a heightened state, we know from, and even interacting with other people and adults, that like that can just put us in a defensive position. So really having a measured voice that's speaking to them fairly clearly, explaining to them your expectations. And the best thing that you can do is ask a child, can you explain to me why you feel this way? Can you tell me why you're having a hard time? That can de-escalate the situation a lot, just because they feel very heard and they feel like you're attending to them and really needing them. Usually if that does not de-escalate the situation, it's because the child is just having a hard morning, and that's okay. We also want to communicate to them that it's okay to have a hard day. There are consequences for that behavior, and we ask you, if you've kind of hit that wall with a child, to walkie-talkie the coordinator. So you will know, it'll be on a sheet on your roster in your room who the coordinator is, so you can call them by name over the walkie-talkie. But we really need you to lean on the coordinators to kind of help facilitate this process, because you guys really need to make sure there's 2 teachers in the room at any given time with the kids. So you will pull the child out in the hall with the coordinator. You can give them very clear boundaries. You can pull their little square cushion that they've been sitting on, or their beanbag in the hallway, just to give them a very clear, like, I need you to stay on the beanbag. I will, get your mom or dad if we need to, but you need to at least obey me to stay. just so that we're all safe. I've talked to the coordinators about this, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but they at that point will get in touch with a couple of people. They're going to text both parents, the elder that is kind of helping with the children's discipleship during the morning, and the security host. The security host will know that someone's coming. If the parent doesn't have their phone handy in the service and doesn't kind of get the text for them to come, the elder that is ushing will be able to stand up and just go kind of shoulder tap them so that we're effectively getting parents back in a timely manner. Obviously, the security host is going to make sure that there's not anyone just coming back during service. So the security host will be aware that someone is coming and to look for someone who is coming. And at that point, the coordinator will take over that process. One of the things that we do want to make you guys aware of is in our rooms this year, we have developed a feedback form. Now, because you're not going to be having direct one-on-one contact with the parents, we are going to ask you as the class facilitators, if that is your role, to do one of two things. You can either use your roster to text the contact parent to let them know how their child did. It can be as brief as, Andrew had a great day in class. We're so thankful that you guys were able to come today. We look forward to seeing you again. It can be as brief as that. Obviously, if you have some concerns or if you, want to convey something more, it's probably, if you have a major concern, it's not the best to convey that in a text message. And at that point, we can either, if it wasn't a kiddo that needed to be collected from class, I would say I would ask the parent to call me back, or you need to text me with that information so I can contact the parent that week. We always want to have a hard conversation with someone being able to hear our voice, to know that and give them the most opportunities to assume the best of us and of the situation. So if you have any more questions about that, you can contact me and ask me about that. But if you don't decide to use texting, the other method that you have is there will be hanging a clipboard in your room with feedback forms. So it just has some emojis. You can kind of circle where the kiddo was today. You can tell them a little bit about what you did. But if you divide that between both teachers, even in a room with 10 kids, you'd be filling out 5 forms each. So again, if you'd rather do texting, totally fine. If you would rather do the feedback form, that's totally fine. Not doing anything is not okay. We do need to provide the parents some feedback. And there's grace, but we do not want to get in the habit of just not communicating with the parents at all. Okay, I'm going to move on now. And again, if you have any questions, please contact me and let me know. Scheduling is something that we do as a team once a quarter. So this year was a little bit different because just with COVID and the start to the ministry year. So our first schedule only ran for 2 months. We scheduled November and December. Starting in January, you will get a text message a month before the schedule starts. So we're going to do it in November. So at the beginning of November, you'll get the new schedule. You'll get a text message that has the link that you need to click on. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you click on that link. You will be able to view all the dates for that quarter. And you need to make sure to be done with scheduling, your name appears 3 times on the schedule. It's the equivalent of once a month, but if you're going to be gone for a good amount of time, or you have something that you need to do and you can't be there for a couple of weeks, we just ask you to pick 2 dates in 1 month. So you'd serve twice in 1 month, not another month, and then serve once the next month. Essentially, 3 dates, you could do them 3 back to back if you really wanted to, but that is the equivalent of serving your committed time in that room. If you do not schedule yourself by the 1st of the following month, so we're going to send it November 1st, you have until December 1st to schedule yourself, and then we will auto schedule you, and you will get an email or a text saying, here are the 3 dates you are responsible for. Now, at this point, we do not want to receive information back that you can't serve that time. It is then on your responsibility to contact your other team members and switch dates with someone, because we are running very thin with ministry teams at this point in the year, because this is brand new reopening and people aren't comfortable coming back, or people have health concerns, they can't come back, we have 8 people. So we have enough people to serve once a month on every team. So we really need you to take a little bit of responsibility to make sure that our dates are covered. That is just a service to us as Children's Discipleship, and we will do everything we can if there are extenuating circumstances to help you. But to be honest, we are just running very thin, so we're going to have to close classes if people are not fulfilling their service requirement. So I know that's a hard thing to hear. I know that's not what we want to be. We do not want to be running very thin. We do not want to not have a lot of margin, but this is where we are right now, and hopefully it will improve. And that is really what you can be doing for us, is be praying for us, that more people are given a heart for service and more people step up to assist, because we don't mean to, we're not preaching to the choir. You guys understand that it's been a very difficult year for everyone. So we're just praying for more people to get that vision and to come and serve with us. And we ask that you practically talk to your small group about it. Talk to other people in the church. You have a distinct community in our church. I think that's very evident at Riverside. We have all our distinct community. And so your responsibility to bring people into this is to spread the word with your close friends, because they will respond to a call from someone that knows their heart and knows their margin and knows who could probably be a good fit to serve. All right, so the next topic that we're going to talk about is just our team communication. We are going to utilize an app called GroupMe. So if you haven't already downloaded it, I'm going to put the icon up on the screen. Please do download it. This is just going to keep everyone informed. And so when you need to swap places with someone, you have a place to go and immediately get in touch with all of your team members. You'll be able to see who all is in the group with you. If you want to try to text people individually, if you know someone who has a date that you could swap for. But this is the best way for us to communicate. And a lot of the small groups in the church use this. And it's really good because it's going to keep it out of your data stream. So it's going to be out of your group text messages. So you won't have to be constantly looking for a group text message. It'll just be in the app. You can also, if you have a day where a lot of people are talking and you're stressed out or you just need some quiet, you can go in the app, click on the chat, and mute it. So you can mute so notifications are not just constantly coming in. We don't recommend you muting it indefinitely, because that kind of defeats the purpose. No one's going to get the notification that someone needs to swap or has a need. But obviously, if you're having a hard time getting in touch with anyone, let us know that, because we want to make sure that our communication is clear and that there's an open line of communication to your team members. Okay, I'm going to move into some information on mandatory reporting. We've always had a list of symptoms that we've used from CDC that are kind of contagious symptoms that you want to make sure if you experience any of this, you do not come to service. In the past, we've had kind of different expectations for that, so I want to be very clear on those expectations, what it is to serve and what it is what's kind of the process if you find out that you have any of these contagious symptoms. We are going to ask that if you've experienced any of these things within 48 hours, so by Friday night, if you are feeling off, if your child is feeling off, you are not going to come on Sunday. This is an abundance of caution, just given the situation that we're in. So the very typical contagious symptoms and things that we want you to be watched for, some of them are very distinctly COVID related. Some of them are not, but we still want you to be aware of these things. So if you experience nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fever over 100.4, and extreme runny nose. So if you are in a situation where you're blowing your nose every couple of minutes, for your kids, if it's just that chunky, yucky nose, we're going to ask you not to check in. Mainly, the nose thing is if you're wearing a mask, you're either constantly having to take it off to clean your nose, or for kids, they might not be as aware of that, and they're just like gunking up the inside of their mask, which just kind of defeats the purpose of not spreading germs. So let's just be really aware of that this year. be very sensitive to it. It's okay if we have to close classes. If you find out you are not feeling well on Saturday night, just contact me. We can contact the parents. We can close the class for that day. We still have the sermon bags. We still have the children's sermon. Obviously, we will try to fill last minute things, but we're going to also try really hard not to burn you guys out. So it's okay if we need to close the class. We'd rather do that than expose unknowingly someone to something in a heart of, I know a lot of times it comes from like, I don't want to cause class to close. I don't want to be the reason that things are slowing down, but we'd rather, this year especially, we'd rather just close the class. It's okay. The Lord is with us and he will meet us wherever we are worshiping him. So, okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, and this is driven a lot by pictures, so make sure you're paying attention to your screen if you're just listening to this while doing something else. The first picture is where you're going to go. So you're going to line your kids up, and this is for the 4 to 6 class right now. The 7 to 10s, unless there's a couple of kiddos that need to go to the bathroom, if there are, take all the kids together. Just do that. It's okay to stop wherever you are in the morning and just all take a bathroom break. We don't want individual kids running in and out of the class. You cannot send kids by themselves. And we don't want the coordinator and the security host making individual bathroom trips this year. So if it's an emergency for the 4 to 6s and you've already taken them to the bathroom, text the parent. Actually, we would prefer if you would contact the coordinator who can text the parent. If it's an emergency, it's fine to text the parent in the sanctuary, but we want to really get into the habit of utilizing our coordinator to help with some of those things, because thinking, oh, I can just text the parent, you're inevitably just going to have kids that are not really being attended to. So we want to get in the habit of using our coordinators. So when you line your class up for a typical bathroom break for the 4 to 6s, and this is also applies to 7 to 10, you're going to go down the back hallway. So you go past the lesson and worship room. If you're in the lesson and worship room, you just go left down the stairs. You're going to go all the way down to the nursery hallway. And in the hallway between the bathrooms and the nursing mom's room are 8 X's on the floor. Now, the most kids you're going to have in a class are 10. So do the math. 1 boy can go in the bathroom at a time and 2 girls can go in the women's bathroom. That's because there's 2 sinks to wash their hands. The women's bathroom is a lot bigger. So potentially 3 of your kids could be in the bathroom at a time while you have up to 7 kids outside standing on the X's. Now, take every kid past the bathroom, place every kid on an X. If we do this the same every time, bathroom breaks will go a lot smoother this year. So put all 10 kids on an X. It's fine if they don't need to go to the bathroom. They start on the X's, and you go kid by kid, sending them either into the bathroom to go to the bathroom, or they can walk past you and sit the X on the stairs. When they're done in the bathroom, make sure you ask them if they wash their hands. As a parent of a 4-year-old boy who constantly needs that reminder, always ask. It's totally fine if they're offended by you ask them if they wash their hands. Ask every kid, then send them to a spot on the stairs. Now, if you are the teachers, as soon as you get the kids all downstairs and on the X's and the first couple kids in the bathroom, one of you is going to stand past the bathroom in the hallway next to the stairs so that when kids come out, you are manning them. If you have a kid that is a runner that thinks it's funny to go up the stairs, do not put them at the top of the stairs. Put them near the bottom near you. The other teacher should be standing on the other side of the kids in the nursery hallway. So you guys should be able to see each other, and between the 2 of you should be able to see all the kids. So the kids on their X, it's their turn to go to the bathroom. They go in the bathroom, go to the bathroom, wash their hands, come out, and go sit on the stairs. If they don't need to go to the bathroom, they still come down to their X, and when it gets to them, you don't need to go to the bathroom? Okay, go past me to the stairs. Especially with these ages, though, I really would strongly encourage them to go try. You can say, I know you might not feel like you need to go, but we're not going to go again today, so why don't you go try? At that point, usually if kids really don't need to go, they'll be adamant, I don't need to go. But always encourage them to go try. Okay, hopefully that's clear. You can use those pictures to kind of get a visual for yourselves. And the first couple weeks, I am going to ask the coordinator to kind of if they hear you going to the bathroom, or if this is the typical time to go to the bathroom, that they go with your class. And the coordinator is going to be kind of watching the class facilitators to just make sure that they're getting into that rhythm and they're doing it by this process. Again, not for weird accountability, but mainly just because we want to help you get into the habit so that this process can go as smoothly as possible for all the class facilitators. Okay. Last thing we're going to talk about before we are done is checkout. So now, if you're a class facilitator, what are the two things you're going to have in your pocket from the time you arrive? You're going to have your mask on. You're going to have your hand sanitizer in one pocket, your walkie-talkie in the other. Every class facilitator will have a walkie-talkie. You're going to hear over the walkie-talkie, the last worship set is starting. We are going to start getting parents soon. So when a parent comes to the tent, either the teacher or the coordinator will take their call tag. They will figure out what kids are going with this call tag from the parent. They're going to walkie-talkie upstairs. Please send Andrew Lyons and EJ Lyons to the top of the stairs. You're going to help them collect all their stuff, and they are going to stand at the banister at the top of the stairs. Do not let kids go down the stairs without the adult that's coming to collect them. So all the doors upstairs should be open at this point to the classrooms. Everyone should be able to see what's going on. You should be able to hear what's going on. The 4 to 6 year olds are going to be in their playroom, so the kids will all be occupied playing. The 7 to 10 year olds, this is when they're going to do a craft at their station. So they're going to be kind of busy too. So you as a teacher should not have to be doing a lot to really facilitate the kids in the class. You're going to be able to listen to your walkie-talkie. Even in the 4 to 6 year old room, you could have one person that's really kind of playing referee and watching the kids, and one of you that's really attending to your walkie-talkie. So if I'm the teacher, I'm going to walkie-talkie upstairs. Please send Andrew Lyons and EJ Lyons to the top of the stairs. You're going to hear the people call that, and then as the person who's calling them, I am then going to proceed up the stairs to collect them. So you as the teacher are going to help that child get all their stuff and stand at the top of the stairs. It's why we want at least one of the class facilitators kind of in the door with their walkie-talkie so that they can make sure the kids are not going down the stairs by themselves and are waiting for the adult that's going to come take them to their parents. Okay, hopefully that's really clear and helpful. If you have any questions, again, just please let me know. You, at the very end of class, as the class facilitator, are going to take the thieves spray and spray down all the surfaces, and especially for the 4 to 6, all the toys in the playroom. For the 7 to 10, you have a spray bottle so that you can spray all the tabletops and all the bean bags. They are leather for a reason. They will withstand the thieves cleaner, so please go ahead and do that. You also need to take all the trash bags out of the trash cans, tie them up, and set them outside the door of your room. The coordinator or the teacher will come by and grab those and take them outside to the dumpster. We have our cleaning crew comes on Friday, so from Sunday to Friday is a long time for stuff to be just kind of like sitting in the trash cans. If we forget, that's okay. The snacks this year are going to be pre-packaged, so literally as you go through your schedule, and again, you'll have more of this information in your individual class videos, but you will literally have individual craft bags, or individual snack bags that you will hand to each child. So it'll be very neat, easy to throw away. You'll have small trash cans that you can kind of walk around and collect all their trash from them, so they're not even having to get up. And we're asking parents to really bring water bottles for their kids this year. We're going to try this out. So that we're not managing all those water cups and people touching water and where your mouth is going to go and blah, blah, blah. We also do have a collection of small water bottles upstairs in the hall that the coordinator or the teacher, if they're checking them in and they see that they don't have their water, they have a Sharpie, they can write their name and they will give that to you. We're going to put all the water bottles in the cubbies until it's time for snack time. Yeah, there'll be more information about that in your individual class videos, but yeah, just please make sure that you guys are being really intentional with making sure all their stuff goes in the cubbies. We don't really want a lot of outside toys and outside things coming in. So that's why the cubbies are outside your room, for them to be able to utilize that when they come and then take their stuff, make sure they take their stuff when they go. Because again, we don't want to be storing a lot of excess toys and stuff in like any lost and found at the church. Well, we can text parents. It's not a huge deal, but just so that you know. All right, again, any questions, please let me know. So this is the end of the larger training. Now I'm going to put the link on the screen for the online form that you'll go and just kind of check your comprehension of everything. If you are not sure of something, or if you fill something out that just needs to be kind of talked about and discussed, we will be in touch with you about that. But please try to complete this form before your first date of service, just so that we know that you're ready to go. All right, again, thank you so much for doing this with us, and we look forward to talking to you soon.